Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Red O'Loughlin here. We're on the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. We just finished a show called the Corner Bookstore, and immediately following the show I have another one called Talking Heads. When I'm not doing TV shows, I am a researcher. I research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause and you fix a problem generally. But if you're treating symptoms, you'll never fix the problem and the problem could get worse. So that's what I write about. That's what I speak about. I primarily focus on longevity, age-related disease. Those are the things that I really and truly light the passion under me. So I can find out what's going on chemically. What can you do to speed it up? What can you do to slow it down? Is there something we're not even considering that could get involved in whatever that aspect may happen to be? So those are the things that I love to do when I'm not on TV, but I use a lot of that in my next show. My next show is called Your Personal Longevity Plan Can Start Today. So that's what's coming up next. In the meantime, I have a rather masterful guest today. She's called the Mindset Practitioner. She is a spiritual mindset masters and spiritual mindset and self-mastery mentor. She's a speaker and author of about 7 books, I think, if I remember right. Several of them coming out here just very, very recently. So let's go ahead and introduce Mimi Bland. Mimi, please join me up here on stage.
Hello, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here this evening, so thank you for having me.
And just like the last show, we have another United Kingdom accent. And so this just kind of warms the heart. This is a global show, and today I have to have 2 people from England. So anyway, thanks for joining us. I understand the weather over there is just a fright.
Yeah, it's really raining heavily, but I'm sure the plants and the trees are really grateful for the rain. So yeah, it is. The UK is always a little bit rainy and damp, but we always try to keep the sunshine in our heart. We're not as lucky as you over there to have the weather.
Well, ours changes periodically, but it's as you say, it's what happens there all the time, and you live with it. So
yeah, most definitely.
Spiritual mindset and self-mastery mentor. That's a lot to say just in a couple of words. And then to be known as the mindset practitioner. So why don't we go down that road of mindset? Tell us a little bit, what is your mindset?
So your mindset is basically how you think about everything. It's how you perceive things, what things mean to you, your definition that you give to things. Everything is coming from your mind, basically. Well, it's actually not coming from your mind. It's actually coming from your higher self. Your mind just interprets everything. So whatever experiences you've had in your life, your mind will put it through like a filter. So then that's how you perceive every experience, every relationship, every single thing that's happening from your life is coming from you and from your past experiences.
Is the mindset the same thing as your subconscious mind?
Yeah, your subconscious mind is basically, it's just like a storage cabinet. It's where everything that you've ever experienced is stored inside there. So any memories, any thoughts, any experiences you've had, it's basically like any experience that you have in life really is meaningless, but we give it the meaning to the situation. So the subconscious records all the things that you gave meaning to, and it's stored inside. So it goes through like a filter, it's like a memory bank, and you go through to see if it's in alignment with what you're thinking. So for instance, if you wanted to, say, become financially abundant, but in your subconscious mind, in your sort of recording, if you were brought up to think that money is the source of all evil, or there's never enough, or you have to work really hard for it, or people like you don't attain money, or if you was told, when you was younger, money doesn't go on trees, or you're rubbish with money, then you're always going to sabotage your progress trying to make money, because you're not in alignment with what you're trying to create.
Okay, when I first, about 10 years ago, maybe more, 12, 15 years ago, I started getting involved with personal growth, awareness and things. Very first book I ever read was Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. I think he wrote in 1960, cosmetic surgeon. And that was when I was first introduced to the subconscious mind. And then I've had a couple other people that I've gone to various conferences and talk about. And it's interesting how words mean things, like I want this, I don't want this, whatever. And so our brains, as you say, filter things. And so you've become the master of understanding how the brain works. And so when I say, I don't want more, I don't want any ice cream, I'm on a diet or whatever, the brain doesn't, you may say that, you hear that, but that's not necessarily, as you said, there's a limiting belief of some sort that's buried back there that's puts the brakes on that and says, it interprets it differently, as you say, it filters it. So
definitely.
How do you work with people to find out what their limiting beliefs are?
Well, really, I look at the person as a whole. So I don't just work on the mind or the body. I work more on a spiritual process. So how I healed myself, how I completely transformed my life, and how I was shown was about just realizing that we are spiritual beings and we are here. We chose to come here. We chose to have the life experiences that we're experiencing. And I think when you have the foundations of who you are, why we came here and what we're here to do, then it's completely different. It changes the whole story. It changes everything that you're going through, because you can see it from a completely different perspective. So when I work with people, I just see them whole and complete, because when we were created whole and complete. Before we came into our mother's wombs, before we was fed the information from what our mother was feeling, we were actual whole beings. So my job is to see you whole, and whatever story, whatever ailment, whatever you're experiencing in your life right at this moment is only a reflection of what you've been thinking and feeling. So you're creating it all. So it's the illusion. So I just hold you in the whole energy of being perfect and whole. And then my job is to strip everything away from you, all the stories, all the perspectives, the definitions that you've given to everything, so that you can get back into alignment with your truth and create the life that you came here to create.
It's interesting how some people, I can remember a couple instances where somebody's up there on stage and he talks about, when I was a kid, I was sexually abused, this, that, and whatever. And they go on to become, fantastic contributors, influencers, producers, and others. They wallow in that guilt and everything. So how do you start addressing, early guilt? Is it just a matter of awareness first, or is it really a harder journey than that?
No, I think change is instantaneous. I think it's also what we've been led to believe. So we've been led to believe that change takes time and that you have to go through a process. I mean, our human conditioning is one that, that you have to, unless you have pain and suffering, then it's not worth, the journey has to be hard and it has to be the hero's journey. But really, we are changing every second of every minute. Every time you choose and you want something different, we're changing. But because the reflection isn't showing you the changes, you think nothing's changing. And we're just conditioned to love telling our story. We love to tell our friends, oh, this is happening and this person treated me like that and he said this. not understanding that everything's energy, it's all frequency, it's all vibration. So the more you speak about the things you don't want, the more you fear what you don't want, you're just going to create more of it, because the world is responding to you. It's responding to how you feel. And that's what I think people don't understand. It's like, well, I'll just say it quickly. Let me just get it out and just tell you quickly. I said, but why do you need to tell me? I know where you are. So we all know where we are and the circumstances of what we've created up to this point in time. But let's not talk about it. We don't have to keep going back. It's about going forward, and it's about creating what you do want to experience.
Okay, a few years ago, you wrote a book called The Answer Is You.
Yes.
Does that cover a lot of what you're talking about right now, as far as understanding that journey, that awareness, opening, awakening, alignment, etc.?
Well, the Answer Is You was a book that actually came through me. And I think I wrote that within about 5 days, 5 or 6 days. It was a very much, I mean, the principles of life really are simple. So I like to keep it simple. Really, we complicate things. That book was written really as a anyone that doesn't know about vibration, anyone that doesn't know how things work. That's what I wanted that book to be able to speak about. So when you go to the fridge in the morning, you open the fridge door, the milk falls out and it goes all over you and it puts you in a bad mood. So then your frequency is of frustration or anger. Then you get in the car and you get stuck in the traffic and everybody's blocking you, because whatever you're going to give out, you're going to experience more of that day. You can either open the fridge and the milk falls out and think, oh gosh, never mind, and still smile about it and mop it up and clean it, or it can put you in a really negative state of being for the whole day. And most people don't understand why then the synchronicities come all day long that match the vibration you're in. So it's literally just having, like you said, awareness of how the whole system works and how you work, really. Because when we were born, we wasn't given a manual to show us what our emotions are there for and how we actually create anything in life.
It's interesting because I talk about a lot when I speak on the emotional response. That you're stuck in traffic, the car gets through, you're now at another red light, and now all of a sudden you're and I'm late, and everything is going wrong. Yes. Or as you say, something spills on you. I've been through this so many times, and I'm getting better. It's now it maybe lasts for minutes rather than for a half a day. But again, it's that awareness. Okay, that is one of my really things that piss me off. Change my attitude. And if I can, in a car, it's pretty easy to do. I've let a lot of things go, but it's that unexpected. You open the door and something happens. That's, I get in the car and I expect things. But the unexpected is the one that really catches me. And that one may catch me for more than just a few minutes. That one may catch me for an hour. But then all of a sudden I start to realize I don't need to live this way. I need to get back to where I was.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like when you come from the premise of what is this trying to teach me about myself? Every single situation in your life is there for you. It's there to help you. Like if you keep attracting negative relationships, and if the relationships keep triggering you, that relationship is just there. Really, you've called that relationship in before you even came here. But what are they representing to you? So if it's rejection, where are you rejecting yourself? If it's getting you to feel angry, where are you angry at yourself? Every single person and everything in life is just mirroring some part of you. So that makes the journey so much more fun. So rather than taking it personally, I'm just thinking, what have I done wrong? And living from unworthiness, you can think, hang on a minute, I've done nothing wrong. You can step back and you can think, how is this serving me? How is this helping me to grow? How is this showing me the beliefs or the perspectives that I have about myself that I need to change or I need to give to myself? Because once you've given yourself those aspects and you feel those voids inside of you, those relationships, those people, those situations, they won't come up the same way ever again, because you're a whole inside. And that's the whole point of the journey. It's about recalibrating yourself to your truth.
Well, you mentioned the journey, but you also mentioned knowing where you are. And I think that's super critical, whether it's your health, your business, your finances, your relationships. I mean, you really need to know, where are you right now? But equally important is, where are you going? And you talked earlier about having that knowledge of, why are you here? What are you doing? And I
Yes.
think about, was it Alice in Wonderland? And the statement is, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
Yeah, most definitely.
And so it's one of those things. It's two-part. You got to know where you are and where you're going, because if I know where I'm going, I can back off a little bit and kind of incrementally see how I can get there. But if I have no idea where I want to be, where I'm going,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just floundering.
Yeah. And I think it's important as well, like, you know, I mean, when I work with clients or when I speak to people, I'll say to them, what is it that you want? And they say, I just want to be happy. But what does happiness mean to you? Because happiness is right here and now. Well, I want to be free, but you were born free. So that's not what you actually want. What is it that you want? And I'd say 99% of people are depressed, they're miserable, they have anxiety. The reason being is because not one of them is really living their truth. Because every single person knows what they really want. If that is, they've had a dream to live in Australia, or if they want to be self-employed, or whatever it is that it really lights your bell up. It's just that you think somewhere inside of you can't attain it, or that you can't have it, or that you've now got children, or you're married, or, you know, you're too old or too young, or, you know, I was speaking to somebody who desperately wanted to play music his whole life, but his father told him that he was never good enough. So he's not good enough. But I said, you could pick up a musical instrument now and go and play for fun. But if he can't be the best, then there's no point in even starting. So we all have these limiting beliefs, these labels that people have put on us. And that's why we're so disconnected from ourselves. That's why the majority of people find external things to fill the internal voids, because they're really not living what they truly want to be doing. And if you could really be honest with yourself and get clarity, what is it that you really want? You can be, do, and have anything. So what is it? No limitations, no labels, just what is it you want, and start with that truth.
You wrote a book, The Answer Is You, where the dreams become a reality. So what you're talking here is, the dreams are there. We ignore them sometimes. Sometimes we refuse to get out of our comfort zone. Sometimes we get addicted to things, maybe not on purpose. It just happens. Yeah. And we're in this little rut that you can't get out of. So okay, let's say that I have a dream of doing this. How do you work with somebody to identify a dream? And then how do you actually get them to break out of that comfort zone so they can begin to achieve that dream?
Again, I think it's a lack of knowledge and information. Like, we're not taught that we are master manifestors. Anything that we want is already created. Creation is complete the moment you ask for something. But the problem is we're not. So in our minds, we don't think that we could attain those things. So for me, like, say, for instance, I was working with somebody who desperately wanted to be a pilot, never had any money, had no resources. His grandfather was a pilot many years ago, so he still had the hat and the outfit. So I would teach him to put the hat on, to visualize himself flying. I found out where he was living, that they had a simulator, and it would be the plane that he would be flying once he became a pilot. So I paid for him to go into that simulator so he could feel it. He could actually really embody it. And I taught him how to anchor it into his body. So every single day he was changing the energy around the fact that, and getting excited. He would see himself as a pilot. He'd start talking, like getting excited about where he would fly to. And he'd say to me, like, when I'm a pilot, I'll fly you around the world and blah, blah, blah. Within a few months, his life started changing. He started attracting people to him. In the end, he was taken to Miami. Somebody paid for him to become a pilot. He took his pilot license. I mean, it wasn't just as easy as that, because he had his own fears once he got there. And then he started thinking that he wasn't going to be able to do it. So again, the process of calming him down, getting him to visualize and to living in the moment. And he became a pilot. So that's somebody who had no money. And it's the same process when I work with people that have, you know, severe illnesses, and they've been told they've got a week to live. It doesn't matter where you are in life. You have the power and the ability to change anything because you created it. So the thing is, most of us, we live in fear and we listen too much to external situations. And then we have references. You can go onto Google, or you can look up your symptoms, and it's like, oh, you've got this and this means this. And then you know other people that have the same things. So you're then through fear, you're going down the same route. But all I'm here to say is, and I only teach what I have embodied and what I've overcome. So I've overcome and I've healed myself from crazy things, many life-changing things, and I know what's possible. And every single thing starts within your mind. And when you train your body to feel safe, you can overcome anything. I mean, you really can. Your mind and your body are creating every single situation in your life.
We're getting ready to go on a break, Mimi, be a minute and a half. But when we come back, you have 4 short books that are out recently. And I want to make sure we spend some time on those because it's very important, even though they're just a few pages each. The message in there is something that we really need to let the world know about. So that'll be the direction I want to go after we get back from the break.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
Listen, babe, now. 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 Listen, babe, now.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Brett O'Loughlin here. We're on the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. My guest today is Dr. Mimi Bland. She is the mindset practitioner. And so, Mimi, please join me back up here on stage.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Okay, you chose to come out with 4 different books, fairly short. I'm assuming these are all ebooks.
Yes, they're actually ebooks, and you can actually they're hard copies as well. They're paperbacks as well for anyone that prefers to read a book. Okay,
and so you chose, rather than put all of this into one book and have 4 different sections, you chose 4 different books.
Yes.
Lead me through the mindset of why you did that.
Yeah, well, the reason being why is because there's certain aspects about that we all have, and these are really the core foundations. So I wanted it to be very specific. So somebody who's struggling with self-belief, being able to believe in themselves, to understand what the process is. I wanted that to be a book that was complete. So when I was on my healing journey, when I was really recalibrating to myself, I needed specific information as to why I kept doing things. I didn't want just like a little chapter. I wanted a whole passage about it so that my mind could read it, reread it, understand it, and really absorb it. So that's the reason why the 4 little books were created.
Interesting. You talk about self-belief. I remember one of the conferences I went to, we had a dinner afterwards with some people, and I'm sitting next to about 2 over from the main presenter. And they were talking across the table, and they said, this guy, John, doesn't know what his name is. Can't even remember his name now. And they said, he's really dynamic, but he lacks self-esteem. And until he corrects that, he's not going anywhere. He can, manipulate a small audience. He can have a small success, but his ability to grow and influence is limited. So yes. When we're talking about self-esteem, how do we even become aware we have a problem with self-esteem?
I think, it's not that we have a problem. The way I try to look at everything in life is, if there's something that you're trying to attain or you're trying to have, If there's something that's blocking you or you're stopping yourself, then that means that you have a limitation, a definition, a program. Something is blocking you from moving forward to attaining that. So that's how I like to use those definitions. So for myself, if I put it into reference to myself, many years ago, I suffered severe emotional, physical, and mental abuse. So I'd be locked in a cupboard, like a tiny little room with a baby's potty. And I was consistently told daily that I was dirty, I was disgusting, I had nothing good to say, that I could never attain anything in life. So for me, my self-esteem, how I viewed myself, how I felt about myself was somebody who could never speak, who was so embarrassed, who would never look at anybody in the eye. And I spent my whole life like that. So over the years, as I started growing and as I started wanting to sort of maybe interact with people, I would feel like I was going to like have a nervous breakdown, like my whole body would go into convulsion because my nervous system was so afraid of what people were going to say about me. So I had to relearn and change my whole self-image, my concept of how I saw myself and how I felt about myself, and start loving myself, understanding that all the labels that had been put upon me, the experiences that I had endured, they were not the truth of who I was. They weren't me. So I then had to recreate myself in the image of who I knew that I was.
Okay, so you're bringing in the fact that we had experiences that were extremely negative, horrifically negative, and as such, you don't look somebody in the eye. Obviously your body language is very defensive. So as you're working with somebody and you're seeing that they're not looking you eye to eye, you are picking up these signals, these emanations in body language and in facial expressions. Even though the body may open up, the face is one of the last ones to change. As a speaker, people can do all sorts of things, but until you see it in their face, that they're not really and truly in that speech. But sometimes you get a really good speaker and you can see it and you're just mesmerized because they're walking the walk that they're talking about.
Yeah, and I think, the greatest giveaway, especially for me, when I have an ear. So I have this ear that I can just hear when people are speaking. It's a weird thing. People say, why do you always lean in? But it's like a tuning fork. But for me, it's the language people use. So I can speak to someone, and even if they say they're the greatest speaker, the greatest leader in the world, what they speak and how they speak, what they say that comes out of their mouth is the true essence of who they truly are. That's how they truly feel. So if you go on stage and they can be the greatest person and they can hold an audience, but if they come off stage and they're speaking, the words that they speak is really showing you how they truly feel about themselves. So anyone that comes to see me, I can have a very short conversation with them and I know exactly where they are, how they feel and what they're creating in their life just by the words they're speaking. So that's the language as well. Like you said, even if you have the greatest body, you're standing as confident as anything, it's what you speak. It's the words you deem over yourself.
I've seen more than a couple people, they get up on stage, marvelous presentation.
Yes.
But then you meet them out and you buy their book, you shake their hand, and that's fine. But then you catch them later on and you just observe. And when they're not dealing with people, they're in isolation or that's not the same person I just met a half hour ago.
No.
There's something wrong. But I have no idea. I can observe it, but I have no idea what it is. But you're describing what's actually going on is the fact that there's hidden things in their psyche and their mindset and their filters that they can filter some direction, but they can't filter the whole thing.
And it's being congruent. I have a lot of coaches that message me and speak to me. And, if you was to see them on social media, or if you see them like when they do their post, they come across as they're really confident and they're the person to work with and they've got it all their ducks lined up. But then when you speak to them afterwards, they're a mess. or they're angry, or they're still carrying stuff within them that they haven't even changed themselves. You cannot help someone else until you've helped yourself overcome that thing. You know, you can't teach somebody how to lose weight if you're 30 pounds overweight, or how to take control of your bad habits if you're still smoking, and if you're doing the things that you're still doing. You have to be a walking you have to practice what you preach, basically, because otherwise you're no good to anybody. Do the work on yourself first, and be completely congruent on what you're teaching others to do, because like you said, people can see through. Everything's energy. They can see through the illusions sometimes of what people are teaching them. And there's been so many people that have been so badly burnt, and they spend money and they want to get the results, but those people can't give them the results because they haven't got the results for themselves. So, that's one thing I'd say.
One of the things I've come across in life is the fact that I can change myself, but I can't change someone else.
Yeah.
So I may be married for a couple decades or something. I see the light. I make some changes. I want to change my spouse or my daughter or my partner or whatever, and I can't change them.
No.
But I all of a sudden now, whatever relationship I have, because I've changed, now starts to deteriorate. Because now, instead of having a disconnect, I have a major chasm between the two psyches, so to speak.
Yes.
What have you seen with regard to having people succeed in getting themselves, but now they can't let other people be themselves?
Yeah, I find that that's a big one. Like sometimes we're constantly trying to change the person in a relationship so that they can, everybody wants somebody to change or be different so that they can feel better. Everything in life, really, anything that you want, you only want it for the feeling, because that's what it is. We're feeling beings. But really, as you said, we're not here to change anybody. We're here to change ourselves. And we have got the ability to change others by how we see them and what we're perceiving of them. So somebody can only meet you at your expectations of what you expect from that person. So if you have a filter, if you have something that said, everybody lets me down, everybody speaks badly about me, people are going to reflect that back to you. Or if you've been abandoned as a child, you may push relationships away without you even doing it. Not because you're a nasty person, but you're just trying to protect yourself. So really, I always say, be the change you want to see in the world. Change yourself. Like, I never change my sons. I don't ever speak about anything they come to me for. I just listen to them. I'm not there to change them. I'm not there to change my grandchildren's lives. But what I am there to do is to be the embodiment of that change. When they see me happy, when they see me thriving, when they see me as that living example, then they want to know, what are you doing that you're always so happy? What are you doing that you're thriving in life? So be the example. And if you hold people, as I said at the beginning, with the intentions of just love, regardless of what they're going through, it's got nothing to do with you. It's their own battles that they are battling with. But if you hold them in the highest regard, then they can only meet you at that level of entry. If not, then the vibrations won't match anymore. And that's why people start leaving you, or why people start moving away, because you're not a match vibrationally anymore. You've maybe changed, maybe you've grown, maybe the other person hasn't. But that's not a bad thing either. It just means that you met each other at a point in your life. And sometimes it might be time to, shake hands and move on. But again, we're taught that you have to stay in situations for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes you don't. It doesn't mean you have to leave every situation. You try and work through things together. But there comes a point where maybe your energies aren't aligned anymore. You've both grown and you become different people.
It's interesting. I was listening to what you were saying there, and here in the United States, just within the last week, a couple of days, there was some blow up on social media. A person just absolutely chastised, tore down another person who was working because of what they were wearing. Doesn't matter what it was, but it got back and mushroomed backwards onto the person who was being so critical, and so much so that they're almost considering firing her. Well, they interviewed the woman, and they says, "Hey, I hold nothing against her. I don't think she should be fired." It just, and all of a sudden people saying, wow, there's love in Exonified, because anybody else, not anybody, most people would be very resentful. But if you know who you are and it doesn't change.
Yeah.
You just continue doing it.
Yeah. And also people have to remember that everybody is only a reflection of yourself. We are all interconnected. So if you have anger and hatred for somebody, you're holding anger and hatred for yourself. So when we speak about forgiveness, you're not forgiving the other person, you're releasing the hatred and the anger inside of you. I know people that have been in therapy for years and they never move on. They never change their patterns because all they do is keep talking about the thing that they don't want anymore, but they forget that it's energy and frequency. So you're literally sustaining the very life that you don't want to live. And it's very hard because, like I said, instead of focusing on what you want and where you're going, we live in the past. We constantly want to regurgitate everything that's happened to us, talk about it, feel about it. But that's just keeping you stuck in a holding pattern and you'll never be able to set yourself free. The key there is to be able to understand that everyone is only there as a reflection to show you what you have inside of yourself. They're there helping you to grow. Every time you react negatively, every time you want to lash out, you're actually putting yourself back and you're stopping yourself from achieving what you want. I always say to people that the circumstances of life really do not matter. Circumstances do not create reality. It's your state of being. It's who you are. It's who you're being in that moment. When you practice a state of being and you become so that it's just who you are every day, it doesn't matter what's happening around you because the circumstances don't matter. Who you're being in every matter, that's what creates, that's what manifests in life. So if you're sick, if you're ill, if you're unhappy, if you're miserable, if you're poor, if you want to experience wealth, it's not the circumstances, it's your state of being. Change your state of being and your circumstances will change to match.
Amy, we're getting ready to end the show here quickly, and I promise you have a book coming out shortly. Let's talk about that before we get to the end of the show.
Okay, fantastic. So I've got The Answer Is You. I've got the Soul's Frequency Blueprint. That's really going into more spirituality. And the 4 little books that I've just written, the first one's called It's Self-Belief. The other one is called The Frequency of Confidence. There is The Power of Self-Belief, Self-Love, how to love yourself, because the basis of every single thing in life is all about loving yourself. And the third book is The Art of Self-Healing. But really, if I could say anything, it's when you start coming home to yourself, when you start loving yourself, and I mean every single aspect about yourself, the love handles, the bits you hate, anything. When you fully accept yourself, your body will heal, your life will change, your relationships will change, and your life will you could completely transform your life. It's all about coming home to yourself and accepting and loving yourself as well, and accepting and loving other people as being there as a reflection to help you to heal, to help you to be happy. Because really, our only goal in life is to live a happy, joyful life experience. That's what we're here for.
How do people buy your books? How do they get in touch with you for speaking opportunities?
So my books are all available on Amazon. You can also buy them. They're all available on my website as well, which is www.mimibland.london. You could just put me into Google anywhere. Oh, there I am. And it's mimibland.london, Instagram, mimibland.london, LinkedIn, mimibland.london. So yeah, it's quite easy to get hold of me. But like I said, if you just go into any search engine and just put Mimi Bland, I will come up somewhere.
Okay, Mimi Bland for our audio audience will be followed up after the live broadcast. Mimi, M-I Bland, B-L-A-N-D, .London.
Yes.
That's a new one for me. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. So .London. So Mimi Bland, .London. Mimi, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you about the mind, our mindset, our everything that we do. So I look forward to a future conversation with you. I wish you the best on your book sales. Have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and a wonderful 2026.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me on your show. Thank you to all your audience members, and happy Christmas and happy 2026 for all of you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Retta Laughlin here. We're wrapping up the show today, The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. My next show is called Talking Heads. My topic is your personal longevity plan can start today. And so we're looking at what do you need to do? And actually, ironically, when we get into it, you're already doing it. The question is, what do you need to change today in order to really give an increased risk of having a healthier retirement down the road? And so we'll go into the details, and I'm not diving down to the microscopic level. We're not going to be talking about chemicals with 15 syllables in them. No, we're talking about what are those actions that you really need to do in order to affect a change that's lasting and will actually be very beneficial down the road. So next week is Christmas here, and I will not be on any of my shows, the Corner Bookstore, the Wise Ones, or Talking Heads. All three shows will probably be rebroadcasts of earlier ones. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm guessing so. I do plan on being on the air on January 1st, New Year's Day. So with that, I'm going to bid everyone adieu, and I wish you all absolutely outstanding Christmas season and the best 2026 you've ever seen. So take care, you all. Bye now.
Which of these 5 statements sounds mostly like you? 1. I often wake up in the middle of the night worrying about my future. 2. I'm angry or resentful towards a specific person. 3. I have anxious, obsessive, compulsive thoughts throughout the day. 4. I have an addiction like smoking, drinking, shopping, sugar, or social media. And 5, I feel that I'm wasting away my life. Hello, I'm Dr. Alkistis Agio, and for over 25 years, I've been coaching and training people from all over the world to transform their fears, insecurities, anxiety, and anger into mental and emotional freedom. I'm confident that my simple 3-step method based on Greek philosophy can help you to transform into the joyful, confident, free human being that you deserve to be. I want to invite you to join my weekly online coaching group to finally get the results that you want. Look, you've tried it alone so far and you've had some okay results, but let's face it, you're still feeling stuck right now, spinning your wheels. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, unless you realize this as a fact, that you are a prisoner of your own mind, you can't move forward. I'm here to support you, as well as the whole community that we are co-creating. Stop feeling stuck. Stop feeling depressed. You don't have to do it alone, and alone isn't working anyway. Sign up today, and I'll meet you on the inside of our amazing weekly group call. I guarantee that you'll make progress from the very first session.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you? Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the Elevated Listeners courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, Master the Art of Listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.